Good morning, everybody. Welcome to Solo ReacTalk. This morning, I'm going to be continuing my reaction to The End and the Death of Sanguinius, a playlist compiled by Anthrax Crab. And I'm going to be reacting to The End and the Birth of the Black Rage voiceover made on the DQVO YouTube channel. If you guys want to check out my previous reaction to the other videos in the playlist, remember that the links are in the description below. If you want to check out my reaction to other Warhammer 40k content created by YouTubers, remember that the playlist card is going to be at the top right here. Yes, you'll be able to find them there. Alright, let us start with the birth of the Black Rage. 3, 2, 1, go.
Raldoron's heart stops for 8 beats. His blood freezes, then ignites. A spasm lashes through him from head to toe, as though he has been cracked like a whip, and he collapses against the black adamantine doors of the great atrium. Doors that, a moment before, he was trying to claw open. The pain is sudden and so complete that Raldoron is unable to consider the mystery of its origin. He slides down the doors, his fingertips leaving scratches in the black metal. Cassidy and Corridal rush to him, and as they turn him and see the sightless staring of his eyes and the wordless straining of his jaw, they fear the worst. The action of some assassin or some undetected enemy.
No, none of that.
Poison, disease, a seizing affliction. Then, the worst hits them too. And they convulse and fall as their first captain fell.
And since they're all close together, once the Black Rage completely takes them over, they're going to fight each other, all three of them. Because, once you're in that state, you just fight anything that's in front of you. Doesn't matter whether it's friend or foe. Oh, wow. And I also find it interesting that it doesn't affect them all at the same time. This is happening randomly, but it is happening within the same space of time, I think. But it's random starting.
Writhing and gasping. Across the punctured floor of the Vengeful Spirit's great atrium, the blood angels of the Anabasis Company, sons of Sanguinius all, collapse in turn, brought down by shared pain as surely as by any mass reactive round. Their bodies thrash and contort, hammering the broken deck. Weapons discharge by accident. Standards and banners topple from spasming hands. Their screams fill and then shred the air. Raldoron sees none of this. He sees agony manifesting as a great, red, pumping sac that fills his vision. He sees loss as the air that his lungs refuse to draw. He sees anguish as the edge of a keening blade. He sees grief as claws that close and knife him whole.
I'm just wondering about the other Primarchs that were killed, and their sons witnessing their deaths. Like, when you think about the 10th Legion, when they saw Ferrus Manus being decapitated by Fulgrim, they did not experience anything of this sort of like the Black Rage. Then I'm wondering, why is it that Sanguinius is psychically linked to all of his Legion Astartes, to the point where such an imprint like this would be transferred to everybody who's part of the Blood Angels? or the 9th Legion, I should say. You know, why it wasn't something similar also affecting the 10th Legion after Ferrus Manus was killed? Why is it only happening to the 9th?
He sees a burning battlement. He sees the sky on fire forever. He sees his lord, Sanguinius, broken across a demon's spike, pinned face upwards like a specimen butterfly. He sees the scarlet blood in quantities beyond measure.
And they're seeing their Primarch within like a third-person viewing experience. I thought maybe they see what has happened to Sanguinius through his eyes. You know, as Horus holds his Worldbreaker mace and just bludgeons him to death. I thought that's what they're seeing. Not necessarily, you know, seeing Sanguinius being crucified and, you know, blood dripping off of his body, dead. Interesting. Okay.
Blood that is both his and his lord's, and it makes him thirst. He sees rage. Rage is black. Teowel Cassidy sees blood on his eyelashes that won't blink away. He is face down. He stares because he cannot not. He screams because he is only a scream. He sees his bright lord felled to his knees by a spike-hooked falchion, guts dragged into the air. He sees the wicked blade rise again to hack the kneeling corpse apart. All that is red becomes black, and all that is black becomes rage. Saradon Seika's sight explodes. He sees the visions of his lord, and they sear his eyes. Pain peppers him like flying glass. He sees a grim tower of the lost, a tower overflowing with the roar of howling. He sees the name Amario writ in blood. He sees a company of death, all dressed in black, a bloody saltire on their shoulders. He sees their priests and hears the chanting of their More Patris. Their faces are skulls. They open their arms to welcome him. His rage, like their vestments, is black. Corradao Furio sees Sanguinius torn apart by petulant gods. The gods are vast, hunched and obese, half cloaked in the endless night from which they have been called. They are the size of continents, of moons, of solar realms. They sit and pick the tiny golden figure apart, twisting off limbs to gnaw upon like the drumsticks of poultry.
My gosh, man, what a... wow. Okay, I don't know if that is actually happening to Sanguinius. I don't know, but wow.
They chuckle, and they teeth strip bones. Their feasting is inevitable. It has been foreseen and ordained in dreams and visions. Corradal tastes his lord's pain in the mouth of the gods. He tastes his lord's blood on their lips. he tastes the blackness of the rage. He becomes the rage. In the great atrium, his power fist is clamped around Raldoron's throat. The rage expands, breathless, bloodthirsty, unquenchable. It takes hold of every brother in the Ninth. It is a flaw of their gene seed, a legacy of their insanguination, a consuming lust, like the thirst that they have concealed in their shame. But it is more than the thirst.
It is the black rage.
More than the corruption of modified genes. More than the yearning hunger of hyperactive homophagy. More than the mutagenic irradiated birthright of Baal. It is an insanity, unlocked by the death of Sanguinius, an empathic torment that flashes his life and his murder before their eyes, so they share in his memories, his dreams fulfilled and unfulfilled, his visions realized and unrealized, his nightmares. Every permutation of his pain, every configuration of his fate, every scintilla of his suffering, now and forever. The Blood Angels erupt across the tortured farscape of terror. Their fury is uncontainable. They become senseless things, beyond reason, control utterly lost, with their heads suddenly ablaze with tormenting, hand-me-down dreams.
And when you think they were monsters before, you'll be surprised what they become now with the black rage. You know, the black thirst is something else, really, to see what they're able to do, in terms of their desperation to consume blood. But when the black rage kicks in, you don't want to be there. You don't want to be there. And I'm just thinking about the other legions, like the Imperial Fists or the White Scars. You know, once they saw their comrades, the Blood Angels, turn this way. Also the Imperial Guard. You know, once they see the Blood Angels turn this way, I wonder what were they thinking at that time. You know, and 10,000 years later, do they still see them as their friends, as their comrades in arms? Or are they very weary and apprehensive when it comes to joining forces with the Blood Angels, because they know that the Blood Angels have this black rage that could, activate, and then it would compromise their teamwork and they would kill them. Yeah, I'm just wondering how do the White Scars and the Imperial Fists feel about working with the Blood Angels after something like this?
They fall on those around them. All of the 9th Legion Blood Angels are in the field at this fateful, final hour. Where else would they be? Almost every one of them is already engaged with the traitor host when the rage hits. Their enemies become their prey. Skills, techniques, tactics, even weapons are abandoned.
They just need teeth and hands. That's it. Teeth and hands.
The exquisite martial prowess that distinguishes the 9th evaporates in seconds. Mindless and feral, they kill everything around them, destroying with their hands and teeth.
Exactly.
Traitors who were moments before holding them at bay with blade and shield. In their insanity, the Blood Angels are no longer able to differentiate foe from friend. It is not just the blood of traitors that spills. The angels scream. The screaming fills the world. The sound of angels screaming is something no man should ever hear.
And imagine, these guys are well, not super, but they are enhanced human beings with enhanced throats, and some of them have their masks on and they're screaming through that mask. You're hearing some disturbing sounds, or even if they don't have a mask on, because they're Astartes, their throats are also powerful. The Blood Angels are screaming with some sort of like siren, banshee type of scream, in pain and in this rage mode that they cannot control. Must be terrifying. A nightmare.
Christos Galon is on the remains of Marmax South, Section 52, Hold Point 78, when his father dies. He's been there for 35 minutes. That time is an estimate, and he's not entirely sure how he got there. He hears a scream. He has no idea that it's coming from him. Malix Hest does not see the Orion gunship. He is insensible to its violent crash landing, or the skill with which Eos Raha has managed to bring it down on the Aegis concourse. The craft, one engine bitten off and its golden hull stippled with claw marks, leaves a 90-meter scar across the rockcrete. Only the Sentinel's expertise and post-human strength prevents its outright disintegration. It sits askew, bent over to port in the litter of its own debris. Raha ejects the hatch, and he and the legionaries Connaught and Kumo help to pull the dazed Hassan and the sisters clear of the wreck. Hest is aware of none of this. A second before impact, the rage came upon him. He sees a rain of blood, and a distant tower that seems to beckon to him from some forsaken future. He sees his Primarch Lord beaten to the deck by a world-breaking maul. A relentless hail of blows that snap and crush and fill the air with blood spray. He sees the black pit of the rage yawn wide to swallow him. He sees nothing else. He does not see Ibelin Kumo of the white scars tumble to the ground, thrown backwards in his attempts to restrain. He does not see the incredulous face of the Praetorian Fist, Guile Connaught, as his throat is torn out and his head twisted off. He does not see Hassan of the Chosen fall back in abject horror at the sight of a raging Blood Angel tearing out of the gunship's hatchway, gore trailing from his hands and spilling from his mouth. He does not see Eos Raha, his expression appalled as he lunges forward to protect the Chosen One. He does not see Raha's thrusting spear. Malix Hest does not even feel the spear tip go into him, or understand that he is killed.
The Black Rage will just continue to push that Astartes until it has depleted, and then, he'll be dead.
He's not even able to appreciate that his death is, in fact, a relief. Nasir Amit sees red. Actual red. As though blood has coated his eyes. As though blood has covered his corneas. The rage is instant and absolute. He breaks from the formations that are trying to hold Marnik's confluence, not backwards in flight like so many Exertus and Auxilia have done in the past few minutes, but stumbling forwards, blind towards the enemy onslaught. Around him, imperial fists and white scars yell his name in disbelief. Emheda Khan bellows Amit to stop. Amit is oblivious. He utters no scream and makes no sound. He is blood-blind, and everything in him, including his own identity, has been reduced to a tiny, blackened ingot. A coal of pure, dense rage. Like the compressed heart of a supermassive black sun. There is no sound. The world is silenced. Inside his own red darkness, Amit sees images flutter across the surface of that spinning coal of rage. He sees blood drops clinging to eyelashes. He sees an empty stare that will never blink and react. He sees blood on crumpled golden plate, and a face washed in gore. A face that is half lifted off the bone, the flesh hanging loose. He knows the face. He sees the demon forms, black poppets and homunculi that prattle and grin as they drag the heavy carcass across a bloody deck and prop it up and pin it like some trophy to the wall of an abominable black cathedral. He sees the iron nails as they are driven in through meat, wrists, palms, shoulders, hips, throat, wings. He starts to run. In rage, outrage, disbelief, and horror. He is screaming now. The demonic things, both those in his head and those surging down the western mass passageway, see him coming. Like him, they register disbelief. Like him, they start to scream. His sword, already wet with never-born ichor, is as thirsty as he is. It starts to feed. Blow follows blow. It splits skulls, it severs bones, it slices meat, it carves demon skin. It tears flesh. Zalis Varans has already lost an arm, and the sight in one eye, when he loses his sanity too.
Yeah, it doesn't matter what body part or organ you lose. Once the Black Rage comes in, it replaces all that you've lost, and you are just a beast that cannot be stopped until the Black Rage stops. Yeah.
Cornered by Death Guard and the Viratmacine, he is the last man standing of the 4 loyalist squads left to hold the thoroughfare. His visor is punctured by a bloody crater, and his severed arm is a stub of meat and bare bone protruding from broken plate. The wounds are nothing to the wound in his mind. Close by the ransacked freighterry, Setel Amory falls from the sky. The blood in his own veins revolts him, and is also in revolt. The traitor foes rush in upon him, assuming he has been brought down at last by a lucky shot. He has repelled their assaults for too long, driving them back, heaping up a mound of their dead, and repulsing their attempts to penetrate this narrow channel of the field. Now, at last, he seems to fall, and they pour in to overwhelm him and butcher him. But they recoil as he rears up. They recoil from the fury that spills out of him like scalding steam from a volcanic vent. They see a look upon his face that is far more than the grim resolve of a noble warrior cornered.
They see a monster. The angel has turned into a monster.
They see insanity, the wild flash of an inhuman carnivore. They do not see what he sees, and though they are about to die, torn to tatters and exsanguinated by a fury they could never have imagined, they should be thankful to be spared that vision, at least. Cotus Mephiel drops the storm shield and bent lance that he picked up when his sword shattered. The sons of Horus assailing him think he's mad, and that his casting away of weapons is some sign of submission. They are right. It is submission. And he is mad. His madness is a black mosaic of 1,000 possible deaths, and his submission is not to them. They are absolutely not ready.
No one ever is once this happens. No one ever is. Whether you're their allies or their opponents. It's just something you cannot really prepare for. Especially if you don't know about it. You know, it just happens. Now what? Oh.
For his hands. Or his teeth. Aemon Lux, in his madness, tries to pull himself free from the lifter throne that supports him. It feels to him as though the chair systems are pumping poison rage into his body instead of opiates, and the opiates ran dry hours ago anyway. He's all consumed.
Wait, there's a wheelchair-bound blood angel who's experiencing the blood rage. Wow. So what, will the blood rage, force your body to stand? Or will you just be dragging on the floor going, chasing after anyone that you see? Oh, that's crazy. That's scary.
Pain seems to twist and transmute, becoming another quality of pain that is entirely different and somehow far greater. He thought he had come to terms with the agony he was obliged to dwell in, but he cannot endure this new form. His agony was red, and this is black. His thirst was terrible. Now it is an engulfing hunger. He thrashes to get out of the chair. He yanks pipes and plugs out of his skin. He wrestles to escape his own body, because there is now so much pain in it, there is no room left for him. Hell flame burns his veins. Despair brands his brain. He hears a 9-beat chant not meant for the air, and in time to its chaotic rhythm, he sees a demon's hammer fall, striking, as regular and relentless as a working ironsmith at an anvil. He sees what it is beating out. The auramite plate, the pulping flesh, the white feathers, snapped and torn The bloody clumps of wrenched out golden hair. He needs to stand. He needs to fight. He needs to stop the atrocity. Pain and jet black rage pin him and will not let him rise. The frenetic tempo of the battle shifts. Only a veteran would notice it amid such unabated intensity.
But do you know the reason why?
But Ran does. As a conductor might notice one musician in his orchestra mistime a note during a grandiose symphonic finale, the rhythm of war slips a step. Ran can't work out why. There isn't an opportunity to assess. It is taking every iota of his concentration and stamina to cling on to his little patch of terror. Spilled blood has saturated the ground beneath him to such an extent that it has become a red mire, a lurid crimson quicksand. And if not for the heap of corpses that he occupies like a castaway on a rocky atoll, he would have sunk to his hips.
In blood? Ugh.
His twin axes maintain their rhythm. He cleaves the visor of a World Eater and cracks the chest of a Thonic Terminator. Horus will not win this. The world will have drowned in blood before ever that infamous victory occurs. He strikes aside a power adze and breaks a spear mid-haft. He ducks the thrust of a billhook and shears Hunter through the ribs and spine of a gharial-snouted Neverborn, then swings to face the Death Guard brute whose billhook misses the first time. A frothing World Eater and a horned Ken-who-knows devil clamber up the corpse hill to assail him from behind. But he has two axes, and his combat awareness has never been more pure and focused. Headsman, true to its name, takes off the Death Guard's head, and it comes loose, spinning in a hose of gore. Hunter whistles into the horned thing's sternum and opens its ribs like a clamshell. It topples backwards, and the wide span of its thorned antlers catches the World Eater and drags him with it into the blood mire below. Ran's twin axes maintain their rhythm, but he is out of time now. War's cadence has definitely changed. Ran presumes that this is the end, but so few remain with him. Resistance has turned to rout. Something knocks him off the mound of bodies. The impact is numbing. Struggling to rise, floundering in the liquid mud, he sees the winged monster that has overthrown him.
Winged monster? That's not a blood angel. Winged.
It crouches on the crest of the corpse hill that Ran had claimed as his own, and is pawing towards him on all fours, wings spread, eyes bright, clawing over drenched plate and tangled limbs.
Okay, I don't know what that is. Wings spread and it's walking on all fours. Right.
It is growling. A deep, infrasonic purr of menace. Its fangs are vast. The dentition of a Carnodon, fit to rip the throat from a helpless antelope. Ran is the antelope. It is, he understands, the most appalling and lethal monster he has faced in a day of monsters. Rand knows this quite plainly from two things. Its homicidal intent is beyond question, and It is Ascalon.
Ascalon has wings? Alright. Wow. That's it with the end and the death, birth of the Black Rage voiceover made on the DQVO YouTube channel. Yeah, wow. The pandemonium on Terra, and also on the Vengeful Spirit as soon as Sanguinius died. All of the Blood Angels experiencing, different points or different images, seeing their Primarch being killed, being crucified, being torn apart, and being eaten by either demons or by the Chaos Gods, and there's nothing they can really do about it but just experience all of that that they're seeing and go ballistic, go insane, and yeah, the Black Rage just takes over, and anyone that's in their vicinity is a target to be killed. Whether it's friends or it's allies or it's the enemy, you're all targets. You're all going to be killed. And definitely those Blood Angels that could be killed by their comrades, like people who come from the White Scars or other the other Legion, the Imperial Fists. Yes, it is a mercy kill, I would say, because they've lost it. They've lost it in this rage, and they are on a rampage, killing not only their friends and their comrades, but they're killing themselves also. So if it's possible to bring an end to them, give them that chance so that they don't hurt more and more people. And you can just imagine those that are entombed in Terminator armor, not entombed, but they are in Terminator armor, or those who are entombed in a dreadnought. They're experiencing it as well. The Black Rage, the chaos that would ensue. Anyone that's close to a dreadnought or an Astartes wearing Terminator armor, and those who are flying in the sky with their aircraft. They're trying to focus on flying it, but the next thing they get hit with the Black Rage and they can't control the plane anymore. They're screaming, they crash, killing themselves and killing the passengers or killing anyone that's on the ground. Those who are in the Strategium, they also go crazy. They start killing anyone and everyone around in the Strategium, And those who are, being given medical assistance, all of a sudden, the apothecary's face is being crushed by a Blood Angel, and people just start panicking, like what's going on here? There's so many scenarios where this unfortunate event is happening, where the Blood Angels are being consumed by this rage, by this Black Rage, and it also affects other people around them. And yes, you could say that the Black Rage kind of turned the tide on the battlefield in favor of the loyalist forces. It kind of did, but at what cost, really? The price seems to be very high. I could be wrong about that. In the comment section, you guys can correct me. But yeah, I'm just thinking about all those Imperial Guardsmen regiments, people who are fighting on Terra, the other Astartes legions. They just get caught in this unfortunate situation, and yeah, the Blood Angels just go on a rampage, screaming, clawing and biting at people, and just killing them. It must have been a very terrifying experience, because you're fighting against these traitor legions, Some of them look hideous, some of them look monstrous, some of them are just, you know, evil in their actions and how they kill people. And you're fighting for your life, you're fighting for the Imperium of Man, and then next thing, you know, your closest comrades just start turning on you. Like, that's just crazy. The world has gone mad. At these final moments of the battle, the world has gone mad. Not only are you contending with traitors, but you're contending with people who you consider to be your friends. Yeah, must have been something else. Really, it must have been something else. And yeah, guys, that's it. That's it with this video. What is it called again? Yes, the end and the death, birth of the Black Rage voiceover on the DQVO YouTube channel. Now, the last video on the playlist, if I can get it here. Let me just check. Yes, here it is. The devastation of Baal, Dante's vision of Sanguinius. That's next. Let me just put it in. Oh, before it starts. That's the last video. And remember, guys, if you want to check out my reaction to the other videos on the playlist, the links are in the description below. If you like my reaction, give it a like, comment, and subscribe to my channel. Click on the notification bell if you want to be up to date with my latest videos. And I'll see you in the next video coming now. Yeah. All right.